Let's sit down here at Granny Marble's kitchen table and have a big old heaping helping of ag lunch. We're going to have chicken fried steak, jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad and a glass of iced tea, and a short look at ag weather. Today in the Giddings area on 96.3 KGID, we're going to see a mostly sunny sky, 104 the high, 75 the low. Thursday, 104 and 75. Friday, 104 and 75. Saturday, 104 and 75. Sunday, the 16th, 105 and 76. Monday, the 17th, a 30% chance of moisture, but 101 and 74. And then finally on Tuesday, we get down below 100. That's Tuesday, the 18th, 99 and 73. Neighbor, there is your hot ag weather forecast. Neighbor, we're going to reserve some time to do the commodities at the tail end of today's program right before the grains. Right now, let's go to the Texas Farm Bureau Radio News Desk and check out Texas News and Views.
Cotton and citrus preliminary damage assessments from the recent hurricane in the valley. I'm Tom Nicoletti with Texas News and Views on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. More details after these messages.
You're more than a rancher. You do what's right and trust others to do the same. That's the Texas way. Hi, I'm Pat McDowell, and we ranch near Shamrock, Texas. In 2019, your dollars helped the beef-loving Texans brand reach consumers nearly 300 million times. Efforts like the hit Hulu series BarbeQuest and successful advertising prove that your checkoff is working hard to keep beef in its strongest state. Find out more at TexasBeefCheckoff.com, funded by the Texas Beef Council.
For healthier crops and stronger yields, count on Nutrien Ag Solutions. By partnering with the leader in plant nutrition, you'll have access to innovative products and unmatched service that deliver impact and efficiency to every acre. Healthier crops, happier growers. Lead the field this season and beyond. Find your local crop consultant at nutrienagsolutions.com.
For today's program, we go to the Rio Grande Valley, and Jim Hearn is reporting for us, and we're going to get another report on the aftermath from the damage sustained from Hurricane Hannah. And Jim, let's talk about that damage to the various crops. Cotton, citrus were certainly hit hard.
Well, Tom, they certainly were. Hannah damage to cotton is still being assessed, but the cotton losses are going to be extremely heavy. You know, the good news, if there is any good news, the corn and the sorghum harvest was over, but cotton had just been defoliated and the leaves were coming off the plants. They were extremely vulnerable to the 80-mile-per-hour winds, the driving rain. You know, Hannah stripped cotton completely out of the bolls, left cotton standing in flooded fields to rot. And, of course, the ground just littered with cotton. So it was the perfect storm, say, for cotton because it was so vulnerable. All of the cotton in the valley was impacted to some degree.
But some still remains that may still be harvested?
Yes, we will harvest some cotton. Right now, though, the fields need to dry out where we can get that machinery in the field. Right now, there's just no way that heavy cotton pickers can even make it into the fields to harvest. But hopefully we will have that hot, dry weather that we need, and we'll get those cotton pickers in the field to get what's left.
As you mentioned, corn and grain sorghum harvest were already completed, so that's good news for those farmers. But yet the citrus groves and citrus trees certainly took a wallop from Hannah.
Well, Tom, we're looking at probably a 30 to 40% reduction in the citrus crop due to the hurricane. The high winds shook a lot of the fruit to the ground, and the fruit is such a stage of maturity right now, it's not even salvageable for the juice plant. Citrus trees withstood the wind, but they're going to be growing and regrowing a lot of leaves. And the irrigation crews, which had been working overtime irrigating the groves, have now turned to pumping crews trying to drain the water from the grove. So we've had many fields, many groves that have been standing in water now for over a week.
With all that rain, it certainly had to help replenish stock tanks and reservoirs in the area, though.
The livestock industry, they're smiling. Everybody is cutting hay right now. This is as green a grass that I've seen in August in many, many years, and all the stock tanks are full. So for that particular industry, the cattle industry is really looking good. Tom, right now the vegetable industry is shut down. Fields are still flooded there and saturated. We've got harvesting still going on of some crops when the fields dry out. So right now, we just need that hot, dry weather to continue the drying out process.
That is Jim Hearn reporting for us today from the Rio Grande Valley.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com for an agent you can trust with life's most important decisions. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
You are listening to Texas News and Views. I'm Tom Nicoletti with the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, it's time for Hop Sing to ring that lunch bell. Chicken fried steak, jalapeno gravy, Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad, glass of iced tea, a soda water, cup of coffee, whichever you prefer. We just prefer that old Benny Cox sat down and eat lunch with us. They're still selling sheep and goats in that 2-day sheep and goat sale in San Angelo. Benny, how'd the first one turn out?
Oh, we sold right at 6,000 yesterday, Larry, and we've got over 2,000 for today, so we'll sell up there in that, 8,500 range for the week. We got along real well. These wool feeder lambs, and we had a pretty good jag of those. They sell in the $5 to $10 higher range. They were higher last week. Now, I call them feeder lambs because they're castrated, marked up like they're supposed to be, but I promise you not a one of them gone to a feed pen for, or they're going to go to the ethnic market, kill market somewhere. Mm-hmm. The slaughter hair lambs, they sold $5 to $10 higher. Real active market on those. Some of those heavier weights were up, $20 higher. Slaughter ewes, they sold near steady. Had a pretty good helping of those, probably more than I've seen in a while. Kid goats sold near steady. Quality'd have to be consideration there, and the top end wasn't quite as active, but right in there next door. Some of the quotes would have been higher actually, but the market was still kind of just right in there close to steady. These slaughter nannies, they were a little bit better yesterday, selling range from $1 all the way up to $1.64, but still mostly $1.10 to $1.30. The mature billies, $1.70 to $2.12. On the wool feeder lambs, we did sell. We had some of those old big things weighed way up there over 100, bring down as low as $1.40. Some lightweights all the way up to $2.16. The slaughter lambs, these lightweight hair sheep type, from $1.80 to $2.40. Heavyweights, $1.50 all the way up to $2.24, and that's over 80 pounds. So that adds up pretty quick. You do the math on that one. Slaughter ewes selling range from 60 to 90, mostly in the 70 to 80 cent range on those sure enough hair sheep type that tend to bring more. Kid goats range from 230 to 330, but mostly 275 to 285.
Good. And you said you had 2,000 more to sell today. Is that right?
We've got over 2,000 to start with. So
how will the mood be today as opposed to yesterday? I
hope it's just as good. We had 4 in a row, and the market never weakened through the Wednesday sale. So I can tell you that about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon.
All right. Now, cattle-wise this week, we have a sale Thursday. What do you say?
Yeah, we're starting off real light this morning. I know with some cows that are going to come next week. We'll tell them more about that as time grows near. I know with some cattle coming from far west Texas with a pregnancy test. But as far as any big numbers, I don't. We had that calf sale and sold right at that. That probably takes some away from that. So, we got to get to 1,000 before we can have more.
Gotcha. Well, we'll help you count them this week. Benny Cox, producers in Cargyle. Tell everybody how to contact you.
They can call me on my mobile. It's 325-234-4277. Office, same area code, 653-3371. Or they can always look at the web, which is producersandcargyle.com.
We're visiting with Scott Stanislav, technical agronomist for DeKalb, Asgrow, and Delta Pine. And Scott, you and I have been talking about crop conditions and issues here in South Texas all season long, and there definitely has not been a lack of things to talk about this year.
Oh, no, there has not. It's been a busy year, and we've had some weather events that have hurt some things. We've had some really good crops in some areas. It's been all over the board.
Well, Scott, this is our last update, so remind growers where they can go to find more information on DeKalb, Asgrow, and Delta Pine.
Absolutely. Well, I'd point a grower to www.DeKalbAsgroDeltaPine.com. There they can find product information, yield information as well as going to YouTube and looking at DeKalb, Asgrow, Delta Pine, East Texas, and Oklahoma. That's our YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll be posting some updates there. And I really just want to thank everybody for their support of the DeKalb, Asgrow, and Delta Pine brands.
Scott Stanislav, technical agronomist for DeKalb, Asgrow, and Delta Pine here in South Texas.
Neighbor, when you hear Milk Cow Blues on a Wednesday, it's time to think back to Monday's sale at Nixon. Gary Butler and I spoke last night to see how that sale turned out. Gary, talk to these folks about the sale in Nixon on Monday.
Oh, there had another good run. We wind up with 1457, 169 cows and 15 bulls. Calf market looked like on the steering was a whole lot better. We had some Brahman heifers, weighing in at 3 and 4, bringing $2 a pound, and 4 and 5 weights did the same, $2.05 a pound. And the cow market continues to be strong. 2 and 3 weight steers, $1.19 to $2.20. Heifers, $1.29 to $1.68. 3 and 4 weight steers, $1.31, $1.83. Heifers, $1.29 to $2. 4 and 5 weight steers, $1.34 to $1.85. Heifers, $1.21 to $2.05. 5 and 6 weight steers, $1.24 to $1.57. Heifers, $1.16 to $1.73. 6 and 7 weight steers, $1.18 to $1.46. And the heifers, $1.08 to $1.33. 7 and 8 weight steers, $1.10 to $1.32, and the heifers $95 to $1.12. And we sure got along real well. There's sure a lot of activity. I think we started to sell with about 14 buyers, just people, much less a bunch of orders. But anyways, slaughter cows got 72 for the best cow. Slaughter bulls 76 to 96. Stocker cows, bred cows 500 to 1,000, and we had some pairs, longhorn pairs, bring 280 bucks, and a good crossbred black molly faced cow bring 1275. Larry.
Good. What do you know for next week?
Don't know of a whole lot coming, Larry. Right now, I'm sure we're going to run that 1,000 to 1,500. Sure did turn off dry, and we didn't get no rain out of this last little deal. Beeville caught a little, but we didn't catch none up here in Nixon.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll catch it the next time. In the meantime, if folks want to bring you cattle, how do they get a hold of you?
Larry, you can catch us here at Sailborn, 830-582-1561 or 62. Or you can catch me on my mobile most of the time, 830-857-4330, Larry.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you Sunday evening.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Neighbor, now it's time for this edition of the Texas Vet Report with veterinarian Dr. Bob Judd. Dr. Bob, what's our topic?
African horse sickness is not in the United States yet, and animal health officials are trying to keep it that way. Hello, everyone. I'm veterinarian Dr. Bob Judd with Texas Vet News on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. And African horse sickness is common in Morocco down to the middle of the continent, but it has escaped the African continent several times. Most recently, the disease was found in Thailand, where it was believed to have been introduced by importation of infected zebras. African horse sickness is a virus called orbivirus, which is transmitted by certain insects. Dr. Pete Teal is with Texas A&M AgriLife and the Department of Entomology, and he indicates there is a real risk African horse sickness could be introduced to the Western Hemisphere because we have insects that could be effective vectors of the virus. Horses, mules, donkeys, and zebras are transported all over the world for competitions, trade, breeding, and conservation purposes. And the United States is constantly threatened by introduction of foreign animal diseases. Diligent surveillance, detection, and planned response by state and federal animal health officials is essential in preventing the disease from entering the United States and being ready if it did happen. Monitoring the spread of the disease in other countries helps to prevent the disease from entering this country. The primary vectors of African horse sickness are tiny little biting midges that are about 1/8 of an inch long, much smaller than a mosquito. We have biting midges in Texas as they transmit blue tongue and epizootic disease in wildlife and livestock. So if the disease were introduced in Texas, the disease would likely spread quickly. Horses have a 90% death rate from African horse sickness, while it is less deadly for mules and donkeys. African donkeys and zebras seem to be immune, but can still be a source of the virus for other animals.
What's impressive about Pioneer's corn seed development? I'm here in York County, Nebraska. I'm on the side of the road. It's dark, pitch black, except for one thing. Well, off in the distance, about a quarter mile away, something is lit up. Can you hear it? That's Boreas, one of Pioneer's mobile wind machines. It looks like some mashup of a transformer and a highboy sprayer, and it can generate wind forces exceeding 100 miles per hour. It's like a tornado on wheels. Pioneer uses this machine to test its corn hybrids for standability. These tests are one of the reasons Pioneer has seen improved stalk strength and root scores year after year. Boreas, one of the things that makes Pioneer, Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
I'm Dr. Bob Judd. This is the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, when you hear cattle bellowing in the alleyway, they're getting loaded out from Abilene. They had the sale in Abilene on Tuesday. Henry Pickett and his crew. Henry, how'd that thing turn out?
Well, it went real well. We ended up with a little over 1,050 head, 230 cows. Packer cows were off $2 to $3. Packer bulls were backed off 2 to 3, but they were still pretty good. Yearlings were 2 to 3 higher, and all our light cattle were steady to $3 higher. Overall, it was a good sale, and we expect to have a good one this coming week.
Good. Then remind folks about the stocker feeder opportunity we have coming in October.
October 30th will be our first weaned calf sale. It'll be in conjunction with our regular sale, and we'll continue to have those every other month from that point forward. Here shortly, we'll have all the criteria and the requirements on our web page, and if you have need any information, just feel free to give us a call.
Tell them how to make that call.
Here at the sale barn, you can contact us at 325-673-7865, or my cell phone is 940-733-8208.
Where has Pioneer corn seed development taken me today? Well, first of all, it's not day, it's night. I'm here in Lynn County, Iowa. It's late July. It's humid. The wind is picking up, and I can see lightning strikes on the horizon right now. Pioneer uses this plot to test its corn hybrids for standability. Local testing is one of the reasons Pioneer has seen improved root scores year after year. This is one of hundreds of fields across the country where Pioneer tests corn hybrids in all sorts of stresses, all to get to the strongest 1/100th of 1% of hybrids that make it into a Pioneer bag. A test plot in Lynn County, another place that makes Pioneer, Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
Neighbor, let's take a look at those commodities of ag interest as close to this noon hour as we can get them. December corn, 321.5 down 2. November beans up 3/4 at 874 1/4. September Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 3 at 413 3/4. December number 2 cotton down a dime at 63.38. October live cattle up 127 at 109.57. September feeder cattle up 170 at 148.32. October lean hogs down $1 and a dime at 50.72. And August class 3 milk up 1 cent at 19.40. September U.S. dollar index down 235 points at 93.65. December gold's up 570 at $1,951.60 by the ounce. And your September West Texas Intermediate crude contract is up 93 at 42.53. Neighbor, there's your commodities of ag interest. Neighbor, let's take a look at the grains, courtesy of John Tuggle, 800-288-4453. Number 2 or better Milo through Corpus Christi in August, D's plus 175, $8.90, Progresso $7. Yellow corn through Corpus in August, September plus 35, $346.5. Houston, September plus 25, $336.5, and Progresso $7. Hard red winter wheat through Corpus in August, September plus 80, $496.75. Houston, September plus $1, $516.75. And Houston beans, August, September delivery, November less 15, $858.5. Placido, November less 60, $813.5. Neighbor, we moved 458 bale of East Texas, no bales of West Texas. Prices on the low side, $58.03. Prices on the high side, $60.53. Neighbor, I'm Larry Marble. There's your grains and cotton. And that's it for this edition of Down on the Farm. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you about this time tomorrow.